Hello again, everybody. This is OZ9 Alpha Alpha Radio. In this video, I'm going to talk about the newest release of Greencube Terminal, the version 1.0085. There were some. This is quite a big release. There are many things that are new. Some very big new features and a lot of smaller things and fixes and so on. You can find all the details on the Greencube Terminal website at moonbounce.dk. As I said, there is a long list of things that have been added, and something has been changed, and a few bugs have been fixed and so on. But you can read all the details in the release notes. And regarding release notes, please read them, and also read release notes for the previous versions, because the release notes are a history or everything that has been changed and added and modified and whatnot in Greencube Terminal. Everything is listed in the release notes. The documentation on the web page might not be that great, and it's always pretty much out of not updated as it should be, but in the release notes everything is listed that has happened. So do yourself and also me a favor and read the release notes. So looking down the list here, the most important thing is what I will talk about most is the UHM, you heard me function, which I will return to. A few things down here. One that I find pretty important is a bug that has been fixed. Whereas if a call sign was heard in some grid that you didn't work before, and that station moved to another grid in the same pass, it could be a maritime mobile station, for example, you would not get a voice message when he entered a new grid that was not worked. That one has been fixed now, which is pretty important. Let me see, what else do we have? Yeah, not much. Again, small things. There is a new function here that is pretty good. If you right-click on a call sign in one of the three lists, traffic, dupe list, and calling me, you can right-click and there is a lookup on qrz.com. And together with that, there is also a function the same way. You select and right-click, and then you can pull up that station on oscarwatch.org, where you get that very nice map of the world where you can see all the stations and activity and so on. Yeah, and maybe one other thing is also a bit important, is that once you get a Roger or a 73 from a station that is already in your calling me list, the timestamp or the time at that when you got the 73, the time for that is listed, and that timestamp will be used if you right click and lock the contact. Before it would take the time at the the current time when you right clicked and pressed lock. But this version here is now so that it will take the timestamp from when you actually received the 7.3 from the other station. Yeah, I think that's pretty much the most important thing. As I said, you can go in and you should go in and read all the release notes, because there's a lot of things that are changed that you need to read in detail. As I said, there are one thing that is very new is the UHM, and then there is also because of the UHM, Sheriff Wyatt decided that he was. It should be possible now to disable him, so that the Sheriff Wyatt function, which monitors that you don't do anything, too much, calling CQ too often, and so on and so on. You can now disable him in settings if you want. In my opinion, that doesn't mean that you should send a CQ out every 20 seconds, as some people do, but think about what you're doing. The reason why he can be disabled now, Sheriff Wyatt, is that my hope, at least my hope, is that the UHM function will minimize some of the chaos we see on Greencube. One of the problem, or the biggest problem on Greencube, is the high number of users, which is positive, of course, but this also means that a lot of people are transmitting a lot to the satellite. And as the satellite only has one single channel, everybody transmits on the same frequency, and everybody, will get corrupted packages to the satellite. If more than one station transmit at a time, there's a high risk that that the packets that you actually try and send to the satellite will be destroyed because of collisions. This is probably the biggest problem with Greencube. It has a large footprint, which is nice because we can work stations far away, but it also means that a lot of people have the satellite in footprint at the same time. So the you heard me, or the UHM function, tries to minimize the amount of transmissions that you do. And the way it works, there are some documents on the Greencube Terminal webpage. One of them in particular is made by Kilo India 0 Kilo Bravo Jeff, which did a very, very great job in describing how it works. On the webpage, I also tried to make a section that describes UHM, how it works, but I will just cover it simple here. Everything is centered around a server named oscarwatch.org. This is a server that is driven by Pete 2 Mike 0 Sugar Queen Lima, which is providing the server and has made some really nice functions on the server for watching live which stations are active on Greencube at any moment. And there are a lot of other things that will come. It's a work in progress, and Pete is doing a great job adding stuff and getting many good ideas. So follow that and see what happens. But it's centered around the server, and the way it works is that the Greencube Terminal, which is running at many stations around the world, every time Greencube Terminal receives a packet from the satellite, every time it receives a packet from the satellite, it will make a small data package that it will send to the Oscar Watch server. And this data package contains or consists of a couple of important things. One thing is that of course it identifies who is sending this package, and this is what we call the source call sign. The source call sign is the my call on that terminal that sends the message. So if my Greencube terminal here is sending a message to the server, the source would be OZ9 Alpha Alpha Radio. And it also sends out the grid of the call sign. In my case, it would be J045, and this enables Pete to put a marker on the map for my call sign at my location. Now, in the data package is also a few other things. As I said, the package is sent every time the Greencube terminal receives a packet from the satellite. And in that package from the satellite, we have a call sign which we call from, and we have a call sign we call to. It's pretty easy. It's all packages are from someone to someone, and the call sign from can also be contain a grid. If somebody is calling someone else, often you will send the grid of your location. And if that is contained in the message, that one will also be returned to the server. So the from and to call signs and the grid of the from call sign, if there is any in the message. A few other fields are also sent. If the source station has GPS connected, the server will also receive latitude, longitude, speed, and course. And that is something that is added because maybe at some point there will be some features that can try and predict where, for example, maritime mobile rovers, where they would be at a certain point in time, so that it can predict what grids will be passed. But that's something that is to be determined. And anyway, the data is there, and at some point we might do something with it. So that is pretty much what is being sent on every package from the satellite to the server. The source call sign, the from and the to call sign, and a timestamp. So this is used for the UHM function, and I have a video prepared. I recorded a pass where I did some calls, and I will try and run through that and explain how it relates to the server. We were a few stations on that pass that were using this UHM function, and there were a lot of stations actually sending these data packages to the server. This ability to report data has been in Greencube Terminal since version 8.4. So quite a few stations have it actually running in the background. I should say that this information can be disabled in settings if you want to, for some reason. But yeah, I recommend to leave it on. It will. I think it's going to help a lot in the future. Looking at terminal, a few things has changed. You see a column here where we only had the LOTW status before, has changed now, so it also contains the UHM capability. UHM in this column here has a check mark, or the stop sign, or whatever we call it, and it basically tells you if the station is delivering data to the server or not. Okay, so in this case, Whiskey Charlie 7 Victor, he is delivering data to the server, and Kilo Oscar 4 Mike Alpha is not. And there can be different reasons for why not data from KO4. One of them can be that he has disabled it in settings. That's one of them. The other one is that he's running an old version of terminal prior to 0.8.4. In that case, no data is coming up. So that can be the reason. He is running Greencube Terminal because we can see his call sign is in bold. Whiskey Charlie 7 Victor is delivering data, but it looks like here that he is not using Greencube Terminal, but he is, because he is both running the old client terminal, and he is also running Greencube Terminal in parallel. Greencube Terminal because we can see he delivers data, and client he used for the last transmission because his call sign is in normal font and not in bold font. So that's details. Again, that is described on the web page how that works. And if I start the video here, I will try and guide you through some of the events that happens. We see the normal traffic coming in here, and you see now here I'm calling 2 Mike 0 Sugar Queen Lima and Kilo Italy 0 Kilo Bravo. Yeah, and you saw the first, I tried a transmission which didn't go through. I tried it again a few seconds later, and this time I got a digipeat. And watch now what happens.
Station 2 Mike 0 Sierra Quebec Lima heard your message. Station Kilo India 0 Kilo Bravo heard your message.
In that case, this is essentially the core business of UHM. This message here you heard, which can be disabled, of course, in settings, the voice message or not, told me that both 2M0SQL and KI0KB heard my message. They received this transmission from me where I sent my grid to them. So I know that they both heard my message, and in their Greencube terminal, my call sign is actually up here now in their calling me list. So I know that I'm in that calling me list. This does not mean that I have worked them or anything like that. It just means that I know that they heard me. So now I can sit back, and relax and wait for them to reply to me, sending their grids and so on, just as a normal QSO. The thing here that is interesting is that I don't have to transmit again and again to them until I get a reply from them, because I know they heard me. Before UHM, I would still see the digipeat, and I would still see that the satellites send out my transmission, but I would not know if they heard me or not. I do now. I know I'm in their calling me list, so I can just relax. So this was a pretty busy pass, or at least it became. This is only like 5 or 6 minutes after AOS at my place, and we already have 35 unique users, of which 34 actually are Greencube Terminal users. And as I saw, some of them also runs a client in parallel, and I think most of those doing that is because they have a urge to transmit very often instead of waiting to see if they got a digipeat or not. But that's another story. And traffic goes on, and none of these two stations are replying to me. And in a normal, before UHM, I would probably call them again, with a minute or so between transmissions, because I want an answer from them, and what if they didn't hear me? So I have to call them again and again and again. And if this is a busy pass and you have some rare DX station, imagine what goes on. Everybody calls the DX 10 or 20 times, and the DX station cannot get through because everybody is blocking him. They are transmitting all the time. So, everything ends up in chaos. In this case, I will just, fast forward. Let me see a bit. Let's see what's going on here. I think around, what is it, around here? I still haven't got any reply from either station, So at some point here, you can see.
Message to me from India Kilo 3 India Tango Bravo.
This is a case where RK3ITB is calling me. And you see a lot of the traffic here is happening because there is a maritime mobile station, and everybody is calling him all the time, and repeating calling him and so on. And then, IK3ITB called me, and let me start this again. He started, and I tried to reply him. Again, that was difficult because the pass was very, very congested. Let me see if we can. Yeah, there I got repeat.
Station, India Kilo 3 India Tango Bravo heard your message.
And again, I got a digipeat, and I was lucky because IK3ITB heard my message. So now I am up in his calling me list as he is. He called me up here, you saw, so he ended up here. I called him back, and now I'm up in his list. So we now both know that we heard each other. We don't have a QSO. None of us have a QSO because we haven't confirm or Roger or 7.3s or anything back and forth, but we know we heard each other. So now we don't need to call each other anymore. We can just wait until the other one can reply. Now you remember from the beginning of the video, I was calling 2 Mike 0 Sugar Queen Lima and Kilo Italy 0 Kilo Bravo, and I didn't get any reply from them. And now I will fast forward again to here. So see, now we are 14 minutes in the video, and look what happens now.
Message to me from Kilo India 0 Kilo Bravo.
Kilo India, Kilo India 0 Kilo Bravo. Jeff, he called me back. Finally, he got through the satellite, and that took him 14 minutes. Now imagine if I didn't know that he actually heard me because I got the confirmation when I called him. I would have called him, I don't know, 15, 20 times. If it was a rare DX station, some would call them 2 or 3 times a minute. I didn't do that. I called him once and I got a reply that he heard me, so I don't need to do anything more now. I can just wait for him to reply to me. And this has saved a lot of communication on the satellite while waiting. So in this case, I will of course, in this case, I'm trying to reply to Jeff. Again, it's hard to get DigiPeach because the satellite is congested. Eventually, we will succeed. Let me fast forward a bit. I'm trying a few times here, and eventually I will get through, and that should happen now in a couple of seconds. There, you got the DigiPeat.
Station, Kilo India 0 Kilo Bravo heard your message.
And I actually know that he heard my message. And if I just go back a little bit, look up in the S73.
Station, Kilo India 0 Kilo Bravo heard your message.
When I see that he actually received my my 7.3, it's in the list there, you see. And I know he heard me and I heard him. We have both exchanged 7.3s and we have our grids. So the next thing that is going on here is
Station,
that I
Kilo India 0 Kilo Bravo
select
heard your
the line
message.
and I press right click and I press lock call sign. Done deal. That was the minimum amount of transmission that was needed. And now you see that IK3ITB.
Message to me from India.
He also
Kilo 3
managed
India
to get
Tango
through,
Bravo.
and that is, I think it was around, it is around 6 minutes ago. He actually called me and I replied him, and he managed to get back to me now with a Roger 7.3. And you know the timestamp 1637, and I try to. Now I'm going to send him a Roger 7.3. And that will probably take a few tries. Let's see. And shortly, hopefully, we will get a digipeat. There we have the digipeat.
Station, India Kilo 3 India Tango Bravo did not hear your message.
In this case, IK3ITB did not receive my message. And that can be due to, a multitude of reasons. It could be for once that he was transmitting at the same time. Then he wouldn't hear what the satellite said to him. He could have switched off. He could have, seen a deep fade or something from the satellite. There can be a lot of reasons why he didn't hear my signal. So let's we will let the video roll a bit again. Let's see.
Message to me from 2 Mike 0 Sierra Quebec Lima.
And here you have 2M0 SQL. He was also called, let's see, 7 minutes ago, and he also managed now to get through the satellite. We will let that one roll a bit. Now I will see.
Station India Kilo
Again,
3 India
IK3
Tango
ITB
Bravo
did
not hear your message.
So we will now I have actually both 2M0 SQL and IK3 ITB. I need to send out a Roger 7.3. One thing to note here is that in this video, when I recorded that, the send 7.3 would be check marked immediately when terminal saw my digipeat. That is not the case in the real 085 that's been released. That check mark will only pop up there when IK3 ITB heard my 7.3. So this is not correct. That's not how it works in real life. So let's see here. I try again.
Station India Kilo 3 India Tango Bravo did not hear your message.
And I was not copied again from IK3 ITB. So as I need to transmit a 7.3 to both of these stations, I go up in the calling me list, select both stations, and send a Roger 7.3s to both stations. And let's see if we can get a digipeat. Yeah, digipeat.
Station
Oh,
India
and this
Kilo
time
3 India Tango Bravo heard your message. Station 2 Mike 0 Sierra Quebec Lima heard your message.
In this case, both stations actually heard. So I locked them. I selected both stations and I clicked
Sierra Quebec
log.
Lima heard your message.
So I go up, they are selected. I right click, press lock call sign. They are both locked. Okay. So yeah, and this is pretty much what's going on here. And then we will fast forward a bit. Let me see. Yeah, in this case, I go and select the DL5 GAC, Robert, and send him my grid, and also a Pete G0 ABI. I call them both in one single message because I selected them here, both. I tried that a few times. And again, as I said, it's terrible congested pass, so it was very hard to pass. Yeah, let's see. Let me see what's going on here. We can go a little bit further. Yeah, I tried this a number of times, and as I said, it was hard to get through. And then here at one point, suddenly.
Message to me from India Kilo 3 India Tango Bravo.
IK3 ITB managed to get through. And I call.
Station, Golf 0 Alpha Bravo India heard your message. Station, Delta Lima 5 Golf Alpha Charlie heard your message.
Yep. You see, I got through to both Robert and Pete, and they both received my message. So in their Greencube terminal, I'm now listed in their calling me list. So I can relax. I know I called them and they heard me. And then you see in a few seconds,
Message to me from Golf 0 Alpha Bravo India. Message to me from Delta Lima 5 Golf Alpha Charlie.
you see they both called me and sent me a Roger 73, which is timestamped here. So now I just need to send them a 73 back. I select them both and press Roger 73. And I will get a DigiPeat.
Station, Delta Lima 5 Golf Alpha Charlie heard your message. Station, Golf 0 Alpha Bravo India heard your message.
They both heard me. I right click, lock the call signs, done. And that's it. That is basically what UHM is about. As I said, it's in my opinion, it is not cheating. The sequence, the protocol, the syntax of a QSO with and without UHM is exactly the same. There's no difference at all. In order for a QSO to be valid, you need to exchange some form of information. It could be a signal report, it could be a grid, which it is in our case, and you need confirmation both ways that the other party heard you. That doesn't change with UHM. Although you get with UHM, you get the check mark or the stop sign. It doesn't reply, or it doesn't confirm anything. It only tells you that the other party received you. It could be that he don't wanna work you, so he is not gonna send you any report or any 7.3s. That is not a valid QSO. You didn't get the information from him. So it's just a means in this case on Greencube to try and minimize the amount of unneeded transmission. If you call a station on Greencube, you have not worked that station, more correctly because he received you 20 times instead of only one. I mean, you can only work him as much. So it makes no difference if he heard you 1 or 10 times. He only needs to hear you once. And by not calling him, the station, multiple times, you free up the satellite. The rover or the rare DX station actually has a chance of replying to you because you're not always transmitting. And if 50 stations are transmitting all the time, the rover has not a chance of replying to anyone. So this is basically what UHM is. It's a help and it's a mean to to make things easier for you. There is, of course, in UHM. This is another example. You see, I called SV8 Charlie Sugar once, didn't go through, got through, and so on. It's only a help that can that hopefully can minimize the amount of transmission you do. And there is in UHM there is a lot of settings. This is the recommended settings I would use and I use, and this is the default settings when you install a terminal. There is an explanation down here what it all means. Read it and try and understand it, or look at the web page, and I think you would get most of it from that. And then also read Jeff's excellent PDF file, Kilo India 0 Kilo Bravo. That one is also linked on the website. So that's it. I hope you will use the new features, and I hope it will minimize the traffic on the satellite to benefit of us, of all the users on Greencube. And as I said again, I cannot stress that enough. UHM is not a confirmation of a QSO. It is only a confirmation that you were actually heard by the other station. We have had that on HF, ClubLog Live, PSK Reporter for ages, and you don't work people just because they hear you on PSK Reporter. So please use it, and I hope you enjoy it. And yeah, let's make some QSOs. Bye for now.